A long time ago, I heard about this thing in Tibetan Buddhism called rainbow body. Now, what this is when monks are very highly ascended in a certain tradition, in a certain school, when they die, their body can disappear into rainbow light. Okay, um, basically, just disappear, like nothing left behind, just clothing, I guess. Um, Now, from a Christian perspective, when you hear about this, it's very intriguing, right? Because you're like, huh, that sounds kind of like what happened with Jesus. He, when after they put him in the tomb, his body dissolved or disappeared. It was gone. Um, and it's especially interesting when you research the Shroud of Turin or whatever, because that imprint on the cloth was made seemingly during the instance of his dissolving into light, right? We don't know if it was rainbow light, but dissolving into light. So when I first heard about this, I was researching a lot, like trying to find information, and there was really only like one book about it by Father Tiso, Rainbow Body something something. But he's a Catholic priest, and he was explaining about it in that book. Um, and then I found a couple other things recently that were mentioning it. Um, and it there's a couple things that are intriguing. One, this phenomena, I don't think it occurred before the time of Jesus, which is very interesting because if that's true, then that sort of legitimizes Jesus's claims more. Um, why is that? Well, because Jesus said that his followers of what he teaches, will do the same works as him and even greater works, right? Um, and in the Gospel of John, it also basically equates his own resurrection as one of the works that he did. So it's like he turned water into wine, he healed the paralytic, he raised Lazarus, and then he resurrected himself, right? And that was his final and greatest work. And he says, my followers will do the same works as me, and even greater. Um, so it's interesting to think about in light of that, because it's like you don't often hear, like sometimes you'll hear about missionaries raising the dead, and this happens usually in cases of like mission work where signs are typically more manifesting more strongly. Um, but you don't hear about stuff like a body disappearing, right? In Eastern Orthodoxy, you do have a lot of monks that are incorruptible, which are basically like 100 years after they die, the flesh is still on the body, right? It doesn't disintegrate, um, and you get that a lot in Buddhism as well. You'll even get shrunken bodies and things, but so in Eastern Orthodoxy you get incorruptibility. In Tibetan Buddhism, you get incorruptibility plus these other things of like shrunken body and also like fully disintegrated rainbow body, right? Um, so I'm just kind of making this as a little like conversation starter. Wondering if any of you guys have been interested in this topic as well. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say about it right now. Basically, my thinking on this is that rainbow body is real, but I don't think it occurred before Jesus. Um, so yeah, I mean for sure the school that has been able to do this in the modern era is the Nyingma Tibetan Buddhism branch of Tibetan Buddhism, which is Vajrayana. Um, and yeah, and that school started in like 600 or something. So I don't think that school existed like way back when with like before Jesus. So yeah, I might make another video on this with a little bit more detail, or I'll just like splice in some clips of things. But it's very, very interesting to me. Just a little bit about like Thomas Merton, when he was writing a lot about Buddhism, he thought really highly of Dzogchen, which is like a type of meditation, and Dzogchen exists within that Nyingma branch of Tibetan Buddhism. That practice of Dzogchen meditation exists within that. So like the people that achieved rainbow body were practicing Dzogchen, um, and Thomas Merton thought very highly of Dzogchen. So it seems like he also understood that there was some very close connection with what was going on there. The concept of uh, realization of who you are, seeing reality for what it is, and also self-emptying. Um, these things all exist in Christianity just the same as they do in Tibetan Buddhism. So it's very intriguing. Yeah, so let me know what you think.